Welcome to Starbound, where every star tells a story. Ever wondered what would happen if a child prodigy decided to hack into an alien spaceship? Let's get into the story. Little John wasn't just brilliant, he was audacious. At 11, most kids are just learning how to code basic programs, if they're even interested in computers. John, on the other hand, had long since surpassed that stage. He'd already created a self-learning AI capable of writing poetry in iambic pentameter and hacked into the Pentagon's systems just to prove he could. He left a polite note suggesting they upgrade their firewalls. The boy was a digital ghost, slipping through the tightest security protocols with the ease of a whisper in the wind. John craved a worthy challenge, something to truly test his abilities and keep his restless mind occupied. His parents' modest suburban home had become a playground for his technological exploits, its walls lined with custom-built servers and its attic crammed with experimental gadgets. Yet, even with all this, John felt a gnawing sense of boredom, a longing for something beyond the confines of earthly technology. His gaze shifted to the night sky, a canvas dotted with countless stars, each a potential world teeming with unknown wonders. He yearned to explore the vast expanse of the digital universe, to uncover its secrets and test his mettle against the best it had to offer. With this in mind, John had spent the past few months constructing a long-range data transfer station, a technological marvel hidden beneath the innocent guise of a backyard trampoline. Now, as the rest of the world slept, John sat in the dimly lit glow of his computer screen, ready to embark on a digital adventure that would make headlines around the world. His fingers danced across the keyboard, a symphony of commands flowing effortlessly from his fingertips. The room hummed with the energy of his anticipation, a tangible buzz that filled the air. After hours of meticulous scanning and analysis, he found it, a faint blip on the radar, a whisper in the vast cosmic symphony. The signal was emanating from a distant star system, a heavily encrypted stream of data pulsing with the energy of advanced technology. It was a challenge. A digital fortress guarding its secrets from prying eyes. John's pulse quickened, a surge of adrenaline coursing through his veins. He recognized the signal's origin. The Arunila Mothership, a colossal vessel of unknown purpose, shrouded in mystery and rumored to possess technology far beyond anything known to humankind. This was no ordinary target. It was a legend, a myth whispered among hackers and tech enthusiasts. A mischievous grin spread across John's face, his eyes sparkling with a mix of excitement and determination. "Let's see what you've got," he murmured, his fingers poised above the keyboard, ready to launch his first salvo into the depths of space. This was more than just a game. It was a quest for knowledge, a test of his abilities against an adversary of unparalleled power. Little John, the boy genius, was about to challenge the Arunila Mothership, and the outcome would reverberate throughout the galaxy. With the target locked, John initiated his probe, sending a harmless ping to test the mothership's defenses. The signal, a digital handshake disguised as routine data traffic, bounced back, revealing the first layer of the fortress's intricate architecture. It was a marvel of engineering, a complex web of protocols and safeguards designed to repel any unauthorized intrusion. John's eyes scanned the returning data, deciphering the patterns and identifying vulnerabilities. He noticed a peculiar anomaly, a tiny glitch in the otherwise seamless system. It was a minuscule flaw, a single line of code out of millions, but it was enough. With the precision of a surgeon, John crafted a tailored exploit, a digital skeleton key that would unlock the first door to the Arunila Mothership. The insertion was flawless. His code slipped past the ship's defenses, burrowing deep into its systems, undetected and unnoticed. John established a hidden back door, a secret passage that granted him access to the ship's vast network. His heart pounded with exhilaration as he navigated the labyrinthine corridors of the Arunila's digital realm. It was a world unlike anything he'd ever encountered, a symphony of alien code and unfamiliar protocols. Every byte of data held the promise of discovery, a glimpse into the minds of a civilization far more advanced than his own. John's curiosity led him to explore the ship's logs, a treasure trove of information detailing the Arunila's voyages, their technological achievements, and their interactions with other species. He learned of their vast empire spanning multiple galaxies, their mastery of energy manipulation, and their unwavering adherence to logic and reason. As he delved deeper, John discovered a series of encrypted files protected by layers of complex algorithms. These were the secrets of the Arunila, the knowledge that had fueled their rise to power. John's fingers itched to decipher the code, to uncover the mysteries hidden within those digital vaults. But he resisted the temptation, for now. His intrusion was still undetected, a silent observer in the heart of the Arunila's domain. He wanted to learn more, to understand his adversaries before revealing his presence. It was a game of patience and cunning, a battle of wits between a boy genius and an alien civilization. Days turned into nights as John meticulously studied the Arunila's systems. He learned their language, deciphered their protocols, and mapped out the intricate network of their ship. He was like an anthropologist studying a new culture, observing their customs, their interactions, and their way of life. The Arunila were a fascinating race, driven by logic and efficiency. Their society was a well-oiled machine, every individual playing their part in the greater whole. They were masters of their craft, their technology far surpassing anything humanity had ever dreamed of. But John also sensed a certain rigidity in their thinking, a lack of creativity and spontaneity. They were creatures of habit, following established patterns and adhering to strict protocols. John's presence remained undetected, a silent whisper in the vast digital landscape of the Mothership. He was careful not to leave any trace, erasing his footprints and covering his tracks with the skill of a seasoned hacker. He was a ghost in the machine, a phantom observer. But John was also a mischievous spirit, a trickster at heart. The temptation to play a few pranks was too great to resist. He started small, altering the ship's internal temperature by a few degrees, causing minor fluctuations in the gravity field, and even manipulating the holographic displays to show silly images of cartoon characters. The Arunila were baffled by these anomalies. Their sensors detected the changes, but their logical minds couldn't comprehend the seemingly random and illogical nature of the events. They initiated a series of diagnostic tests, searching for malfunctions or external interference. John watched with amusement as the Arunila scrambled to find an explanation for the inexplicable. He even left a few cryptic messages in their logs, coded riddles and playful taunts. He was having the time of his life, a digital puppet master pulling the strings of an entire civilization. But John's actions were not without consequences. The Arunila, frustrated by their inability to explain the anomalies, began to suspect sabotage. They increased their security protocols, tightened their firewalls, and initiated a system-wide scan for intruders. John knew he was playing a dangerous game. The Arunila were not to be underestimated. They were a powerful and resourceful race, and their patience was wearing thin. He had to be careful, to stay one step ahead or risk facing their wrath. The escalating tension was palpable, even across the vast expanse of space. As the Arunila intensified their search for the intruder, John felt a thrill of adrenaline surge through him. He was no longer just playing a game. He was engaged in a high-stakes battle of wits against a technologically superior foe. John's next move was bold, a calculated risk designed to test the Arunila's limits. He infiltrated the ship's communication systems, intercepting messages and subtly altering their content. He inserted false reports of enemy sightings, fabricated distress signals from nearby vessels, and even planted a coded message in their diplomatic channels, a playful jab at their rigid logic. The Arunila reacted swiftly, their systems thrown into disarray by the deluge of conflicting information. Their ships were scrambled, their defenses were raised, and their diplomatic corps went into overdrive. John watched with a mixture of amusement and concern as the once orderly society descended into chaos. His actions had consequences, unintended and far-reaching. The Arunila, driven by their unwavering belief in logic and order, saw the disruptions as a direct threat to their existence. They launched a series of preemptive strikes against suspected enemies, their weapons devastating entire planets. John was horrified by the carnage he had unwittingly unleashed. He had never intended to cause harm, only to challenge the Arunila and prove his own skills. But his actions had spiraled out of control, leading to a chain of events he could no longer contain. He was faced with a moral dilemma, a choice between continuing his game and risking further destruction, or revealing his presence and facing the consequences. He knew the Arunila would not take kindly to a human child hacking their systems and causing such widespread chaos. John's conscience wrestled with his pride. He was a genius, a prodigy, but he was also just a kid who had made a mistake. He had to take responsibility for his actions, no matter the cost. With a heavy heart, John decided to end his game. He sent a message to the Arunila, a simple transmission identifying himself as a human child and explaining his actions. He admitted his wrongdoing, apologized for the chaos he had caused, and pleaded for their understanding. It was a long shot, a desperate plea for mercy from a race known for their strict adherence to rules and their intolerance for those who dared to disrupt their order. But John had to try to make amends for his mistakes and prevent further bloodshed. The Arunila Command Center fell into a stunned silence. A human child? It was inconceivable. Their logical minds struggled to grasp the notion that a single young human could breach their defenses, manipulate their systems, and wreak such havoc. After a tense pause, the Supreme Commander, a towering figure with a voice like thunder, addressed his subordinates. "This is unprecedented. We have encountered many species in our travels, but none as unpredictable and audacious as these humans. It seems we have underestimated their potential." His words echoed through the chamber, a mixture of disbelief and grudging respect. The Arunila were not accustomed to being outsmarted, especially by a species they considered inferior. But the evidence was undeniable. The Supreme Commander continued, "We must proceed with caution. This child's actions, while reckless, demonstrate a level of ingenuity and adaptability that is impressive. We must learn more about this human species, their culture, their motivations. Perhaps we can even turn this situation to our advantage." He turned to his chief scientist, a wizened elder with a mind like a steel trap. "Analyze the child's message, decipher his code. I want to know everything about him, his skills, his weaknesses. We must understand our enemy if we are to overcome him." The chief scientist nodded, his eyes gleaming with intellectual curiosity. "It will be a challenge, Supreme Commander. The human mind is a chaotic and irrational thing, but I am confident that we can unravel its secrets." The Arunila's response was swift and decisive. They dispatched a small fleet of ships to Earth, their mission to gather intelligence on the human species and, if possible, to establish contact with the child genius. They approached with caution, cloaking their ships and masking their energy signatures. Meanwhile, back on Earth, John waited anxiously for a response. He had confessed his actions, but he had no idea how the Arunila would react. Would they retaliate with overwhelming force, or would they be intrigued by his ingenuity? Days turned into weeks, and still there was no word from the Arunila. John's anxiety grew with each passing hour. He had become a pariah, a target of fear and suspicion. The media had gotten wind of his exploits, painting him as a dangerous hacker who had provoked an alien civilization. John's parents were bewildered and frightened. They had always known their son was special, but they had never imagined that he would become a global threat. They tried to protect him, to shield him from the prying eyes of the media and the government agents who were now knocking on their door. John's life had been turned upside down. He was no longer just a boy genius. He was a symbol of humanity's potential for both greatness and destruction. He had to face the consequences of his actions, to bear the weight of his mistakes. One moonless night, a strange, shimmering light descended upon John's backyard. It pulsed and hummed, casting an ethereal glow upon the surrounding trees. John, drawn by an irresistible curiosity, crept out of his window and approached the mysterious object. As he drew closer, the light resolved into a sleek, ovoid craft, its metallic surface shimmering with an otherworldly radiance. A hatch hissed open, revealing a ramp leading into the ship's interior. John hesitated for a moment, his heart pounding in his chest. He knew the risks, the potential dangers, but his curiosity was too strong to ignore. With a deep breath, he stepped onto the ramp, his footsteps echoing in the silent night. The ship's interior was a marvel of alien technology, a symphony of lights and sounds. John was greeted by a holographic figure, a tall, slender being with shimmering skin and piercing blue eyes. "Greetings, John," the figure said in a voice that resonated with warmth and wisdom. "I am Xylo, an emissary of the Arunila." John stared in awe, his mind reeling. He had never imagined that the Arunila would actually come to Earth, let alone seek him out. Xylo continued, "We have been observing you, John. We have studied your message, analyzed your code, and debated your actions. We have come to a decision." John's heart skipped a beat. He had no idea what to expect, but he braced himself for the worst. "We believe you are a remarkable individual, John," Xylo said. your ingenuity, your curiosity, your audacity. These are qualities we value highly in our own culture. We believe you have the potential to achieve great things, to bridge the gap between our two species. John's jaw dropped. He had expected condemnation, punishment, not praise. Xylo smiled, a gesture that seemed both alien and strangely familiar. We have come to offer you a chance, John. A chance to learn, to grow, to explore. We invite you to join us on our mothership, to study with our greatest minds, to experience the wonders of the universe firsthand. John's mind raced. This was an opportunity of a lifetime, a chance to fulfill his wildest dreams. But it was also a daunting prospect, a leap into the unknown. He looked at Xylo, his eyes searching for answers. "Why me?" he asked. "Why would you offer such a chance to someone who caused you so much trouble?" Xylo's smile widened. "Because you have challenged us, John. You have forced us to question our assumptions, to reevaluate our methods. You have shown us the value of creativity, of spontaneity, of the unpredictable. We believe you have much to teach us, just as we have much to teach you." John took a deep breath, his mind made up. "I accept your offer," he said. "I will go with you." Xylo nodded, his eyes twinkling with approval. "Then let us begin our journey, young John. The universe awaits." The ramp lowered with a gentle hiss, extending towards John like an invitation to a grand adventure. With a mix of trepidation and excitement, he took a step forward, his small frame dwarfed by the towering alien craft. As he walked up the ramp, the ship's interior beckoned him with a soft, pulsating light. Inside the ship was a marvel of alien technology, far exceeding anything John had ever imagined. Sleek, ergonomic consoles lined the walls, their surfaces adorned with intricate symbols and glowing displays. The air hummed with a low, soothing frequency, and a subtle scent of ozone tickled his nostrils. Xylo awaited him at the top of the ramp, his serene expression radiating warmth and wisdom. "Welcome aboard, John," he said, his voice a melodic symphony of alien syllables. "We have much to show you." John followed Xylo deeper into the ship, marveling at the advanced technology that surrounded him. They passed through corridors bathed in soft, pulsating light, their walls adorned with holographic images of distant galaxies and strange exotic creatures. They entered a vast chamber filled with shimmering orbs of energy, each pulsating with a life of its own. Xylo explained that these were the ship's power source, harnessing the energy of the cosmos to propel them through the vastness of space. "Our technology is based on the manipulation of energy," Xylo said. "We have learned to harness the fundamental forces of the universe, to bend them to our will. It is a power that is both awe-inspiring and humbling." John listened intently, his mind ablaze with questions. He had always been fascinated by science and technology, but this was on a whole other level. The Arunila's knowledge and understanding of the universe dwarfed anything he had ever encountered. As they continued their tour, Xylo introduced John to other members of the crew, each a specialist in their field. There were engineers, scientists, diplomats, and even artists, all working together in perfect harmony to maintain the ship and fulfill their mission. John was struck by the Arunila's respect for knowledge and their unwavering pursuit of truth. They were a society that valued intellect and creativity, where every individual was encouraged to reach their full potential. The mothership hummed with a gentle vibration as it accelerated away from Earth's orbit. John, seated in a comfortable ergonomic chair, gazed out the viewport at the receding blue marble of his home planet. A bittersweet pang of longing tugged at his heart, but it was quickly replaced by a surge of anticipation. He was embarking on an adventure that would take him beyond the stars, to worlds he had only dreamed of. Xylo sat beside him, his serene presence a comforting anchor in the unfamiliar environment. "Your journey has just begun, John," he said, his voice a soothing melody. "The universe is a vast and wondrous place filled with endless possibilities. We are honored to have you as our guest, and we look forward to learning from your unique perspective." John smiled, a warmth spreading through his chest. Despite the initial apprehension, he felt a sense of belonging, a connection to these alien beings who had recognized his potential and embraced him as one of their own. The journey to the Arunila homeworld was long, but it was far from boring. John spent his days immersed in the ship's vast library, devouring knowledge about the Arunila's history, culture, and technology. He learned about their philosophy, their ethics, and their complex social structure. He studied their language, their art, and their music. He also spent time with the crew, participating in their daily routines and learning about their individual roles. He played games with the younger members, debated philosophy with the elders, and even helped the engineers with minor repairs. Through these interactions, John gained a deeper understanding of the Arunila's values and motivations. He saw their dedication to logic and reason, their unwavering pursuit of knowledge, and their commitment to peace and cooperation. But he also saw their limitations, their rigidity, and their reluctance to embrace the unknown. They were creatures of habit, comfortable with the familiar and wary of anything that challenged their established beliefs. John's presence on the ship was a catalyst for change, a spark that ignited a flame of curiosity and openness in the hearts of the Arunila. His questions, his insights, his unique perspective challenged them to think differently, to see the world through new eyes. As the ship approached the Arunila homeworld, John felt a mixture of excitement and apprehension. He was about to meet the leaders of this advanced civilization, to be exposed to their culture on a grand scale. He was eager to learn, to explore, to expand his horizons. But he was also aware of the responsibility that rested on his shoulders. He was not just an individual, he was a representative of humanity. His actions, his words, his very presence would shape the Arunila's perception of his species. He knew that he had a unique opportunity to bridge the gap between two worlds, to foster understanding and cooperation between humans and Arunila, but he also knew that the path ahead would be fraught with challenges and uncertainties. The Arunila homeworld materialized in the viewport like a jewel against the backdrop of the cosmos. It was a world of vibrant colors, lush vegetation, and sparkling oceans, a testament to the Arunila's mastery over their environment. Towering cities of gleaming metal and crystal reached towards the sky, their intricate architecture a testament to the Arunila's advanced engineering and artistic sensibilities. As the mothership descended towards the planet's surface, John felt a wave of awe wash over him. He had seen images of the Arunila homeworld in the ship's library, but the reality far surpassed his expectations. It was a world of breathtaking beauty and boundless potential, a place where the impossible seemed possible. The ship landed on a vast platform atop one of the towering cities, its arrival heralded by a fanfare of trumpets and a dazzling display of light and sound. John and Xylo disembarked, greeted by a delegation of Arunila dignitaries, their faces a mixture of curiosity and cautious optimism. The delegation was led by the Supreme Counselor, the highest-ranking official in the Arunila government. He was a towering figure, his imposing stature accentuated by his flowing robes and ornate headdress. His eyes, like those of all Arunila, were a piercing blue, radiating intelligence and wisdom. "Welcome to our home, John," the Supreme Counselor said, his voice a deep rumble that resonated with authority. "We are honored to have you as our guest. We have much to learn from each other." John bowed respectfully, his heart pounding with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. He knew that this was a momentous occasion, a turning point in the relationship between humans and Arunila. The Supreme Counselor extended a hand, his gesture a symbol of peace and goodwill. John took it, feeling a surge of warmth and acceptance. He was no longer an outsider, a curiosity, but a guest of honor, a bridge between two worlds. The following days were a whirlwind of activity. John was given a tour of the city, introduced to the Arunila's cultural institutions, and invited to participate in their social gatherings. He met scientists, artists, philosophers, and political leaders, engaging in lively discussions about science, technology, ethics, and the future of both species. He was amazed by the Arunila's technological prowess, their mastery of energy manipulation, their advanced medical techniques, and their intricate systems of governance. But he was also struck by their openness to new ideas, their willingness to learn from him. A young human from a distant planet, John shared his knowledge of Earth, its history, its culture, and its technological achievements. He spoke of humanity's struggles and triumphs, its flaws, and its potential. He emphasized the importance of diversity, creativity, and the willingness to embrace the unknown. The Arunila listened intently, their minds absorbing his words like a sponge. They were fascinated by humanity's resilience, its adaptability, and its boundless curiosity. They were also intrigued by John's unique perspective, his ability to see the world in a way they had never considered before. John's visit was not without its challenges. The Arunila, for all their intelligence and technological prowess, were not without their prejudices. Some viewed John with suspicion, seeing him as a representative of a chaotic and unpredictable species. Others, however, were fascinated by his unique perspective and eager to learn from his experiences. One evening, as John was sharing a meal with a group of Arunila scientists, a heated debate erupted over the merits of human creativity versus Arunila logic. One of the scientists, a stern-looking elder named Zorgan, argued that human creativity was nothing more than chaotic randomness, a hindrance to progress and efficiency. John listened patiently, his mind racing. He knew that he had to defend his species, to prove that human creativity was not a weakness, but a strength. "Creativity is not chaos, Zorgon," John said, his voice calm but firm. "It is the ability to see connections where none existed before, to imagine new possibilities, to break free from the constraints of established patterns. It is the spark that ignites innovation, the fuel that drives progress." Zorgan scoffed, his eyes narrowing. "Your species is known for its irrational behavior, its emotional outbursts, its tendency to prioritize individual desires over the greater good. How can you claim that such chaos is a virtue?" John smiled, a twinkle in his eye. "It is true that humans are not always logical or predictable," he said. "But our emotions, our passions, our individual quirks are what make us unique, what drive us to explore, to create, to strive for something more. Our chaos is our strength, Zorgan, not our weakness." The room fell silent as John's words hung in the air. The Arunella scientists looked at each other, their expressions a mixture of surprise and contemplation. Zorgon, however, remained unconvinced. "Your words are eloquent, young John," he said, his voice dripping with sarcasm. "But they do not change the fact that your species is a threat to the stability of the galaxy. Your reckless actions have already caused untold damage. What guarantee do we have that you will not continue to disrupt our carefully crafted order?" John took a deep breath, his heart heavy with the weight of responsibility. "I cannot deny the harm that has been caused," he said. "But I believe that humans and Arunila can learn from each other, that we can find a way to coexist peacefully. We can learn from your logic and efficiency, your respect for knowledge and order. And you can learn from our creativity, our adaptability, our willingness to embrace the unknown." He paused, his gaze sweeping across the room. "I am just one human, Zorgan. I cannot speak for my entire species, but I can tell you this. We are not your enemies. We are not here to conquer or destroy. We are here to learn, to grow, to share our knowledge and our experiences. We are here to build a better future, together." John's words resonated with the Arunila scientists, their hearts stirred by his sincerity and his vision. They saw in him a glimmer of hope, a possibility for a new era of cooperation and understanding between their two species. In the wake of John's passionate speech, a sense of cautious optimism filled the air. The Arunila, though initially hesitant, were beginning to see the potential for collaboration and understanding between their two species. The Supreme Counselor, who had been observing the proceedings with a keen eye, stepped forward. "Young John," he said, his voice resonating with a newfound respect, "your words have moved us. We have seen the potential for greatness in your species, and we believe that together we can achieve a future that benefits us all." He paused, his gaze sweeping across the room. "We propose a partnership between our two civilizations," he declared. "A partnership based on mutual respect, shared knowledge, and a commitment to peace and progress." A ripple of excitement spread through the room. The Arunila scientists, diplomats, and leaders exchanged glances, their minds abuzz with possibilities. John's heart swelled with pride. He had achieved what he had set out to do, to bridge the gap between two worlds and pave the way for a brighter future. The following months were a flurry of activity. Human and Arunila scientists collaborated on groundbreaking research projects, sharing their knowledge and expertise. Diplomats negotiated treaties and agreements, establishing the framework for a lasting partnership. And John, at the center of it all, served as a cultural ambassador, introducing the Arunila to the wonders of human art, music, and literature. He taught them about the human spirit, its resilience, its creativity, and its capacity for love and compassion. He showed them that humans, though flawed and imperfect, were capable of great things. In turn, the Arunila shared their knowledge of the universe, their mastery of energy manipulation, and their advanced medical techniques. They taught John about the importance of logic and reason, the value of cooperation, and the power of a unified purpose. Together, humans and Arunila embarked on a journey of discovery, exploring the vast expanse of the cosmos and uncovering its secrets. They built new technologies, cured diseases, and solved problems that had once seemed insurmountable. They created a future where both species could thrive, a future where the impossible became possible. And at the heart of this new era of cooperation was a young boy named John, a boy who had dared to challenge the unknown, to reach across the stars, and to forge a bond between two worlds. His name would be etched in the annals of history, a symbol of hope, a testament to the boundless potential of humanity.